The lights on the bridge of Terra's Vengeance flickered as Captain Jake Morrison stared at the screen in front of him. After 3,000 years of traveling through the dark spaces between stars, something impossible had happened. The signal they had been waiting for their entire lives was finally here. "Captain, are you seeing this?" Commander Lisa Baker called from her station. Her voice shook with excitement and fear. Lisa had spent 15 years monitoring deep space signals, just like her father before her, and his father before him. None of them had ever seen anything like this. Jake leaned forward in his command chair. The signal was weak, but clear. It came from Earth, their lost homeworld that had been taken from them so long ago. The message was simple, but it changed everything. Earth's defensive grid was dark. The aliens who had driven humanity away were gone. "Get me Admiral Rodriguez on all ship channels," Jake ordered. His hands trembled as he spoke. Around him, the bridge crew stopped their work to listen. They all knew what this meant. The main screen flickered, and Admiral San Rodriguez appeared. He was an old man now, gray-haired and tired from decades of leading the human fleet through empty space. Behind him, Jake could see the other ship captains joining the call. 12 massive ships carrying the last of humanity, all waiting to hear the news they had dreamed of for generations. "Report, Captain Morrison," the Admiral said. His voice was steady, but Jake could hear the hope hidden beneath it. "Sir, we're picking up transmissions from Earth. The Zephyrian Defense Network has gone silent. Long-range scans show no alien ship activity in the solar system." Jake paused, hardly believing his own words. "Admiral, I think they're gone." The silence that followed seemed to last forever. Captain Tony Walsh was the first to speak. "This could be a trap. The Zephyrians have fooled us before. Or it could be our chance to go home," Captain Maya Scott replied. Her ship, New Hope, carried mostly families with children who had never seen a real planet. "We can't ignore this." Dr. Ellen Price joined the conversation from the science vessel Discovery. "I've been studying the data for the past hour. The energy patterns match our predictions for a complete system shutdown. Either the Zephyrians have developed new technology we can't detect, or they've truly abandoned Earth." Admiral Rodriguez rubbed his face with both hands. Jake knew the weight that rested on the old man's shoulders. For 3,000 years, the human fleet had wandered from star to star, never finding a world they could truly call home. They had grown strong in their exile, building powerful ships and weapons, but they had never stopped dreaming of Earth. "What about the scouting reports?" The Admiral asked. Lieutenant Commander Nick Davis stepped forward on Jake's bridge. He was young, barely 30, but he led the best reconnaissance team in the fleet. "Sir, my scouts have been monitoring the system for 6 months. We've detected something strange." Nick activated his display, showing images of Earth taken from the edge of the solar system. The planet looked different. Where once there had been brown and gray cities, now there were vast areas of green. The oceans were a brilliant blue that none of them remembered from the old records. "The planet appears to be thriving," Nick continued. "Forests have grown over the old cities. The air is clean. But there are structures we don't recognize. Large buildings that seem to be made of some kind of living metal." Jake studied the images. Earth looked beautiful, more beautiful than it had when humanity lived there. But something felt wrong. "Any signs of the Zephyrians?" "None, sir. No crystalline formations, no energy signatures that match their technology. It's like they were never there." Dr. Price frowned at her own readings. "That's what worries me. The Zephyrians don't just leave. They're collectors. They take worlds and transform them for their purposes. Why would they abandon Earth after 3,000 years? Communications specialist Amy Turner looked up from her station. "Captain, I'm picking up new signals. They're coming from inside the planet." "Inside?" Jake asked. Deep underground. The patterns are mathematical, like they're trying to communicate. But the language is nothing I've ever seen before. Admiral Rodriguez made his decision. All ships prepare for jump to Earth. We'll establish a safe distance orbit and send scout teams to the surface. This is what we've waited for, people. We're going home. The next few hours passed quickly as the 12 ships prepared for the journey. Jake walked through the corridors of Terra's vengeance, seeing the excitement and fear on every face he passed. Children pressed against the windows, hoping to catch a glimpse of the world their grandparents had told them stories about. Adults checked and rechecked their weapons, remembering the lessons learned from humanity's first encounter with the Zephyrians. When the fleet jumped into hyperspace, Jake felt something he had never experienced before. For the first time in his life, he was traveling toward home instead of away from it. The journey took 3 days. When they emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, every person in the fleet crowded around viewing screens to see their destination. Earth hung in space like a blue and green jewel, more beautiful than any of them had imagined. But as they moved closer, the strange structures became more visible. Great spires of metal and what looked like living tissue rose from the continents. The cities humanity had built were gone, covered by forests and these alien constructions. "My God," whispered Lisa Baker, "what did they do to our world?" Dr. Price studied her instruments with growing concern. "The atmospheric readings are normal for human life, but there are energy patterns I don't understand. It's like the entire planet has been converted into some kind of machine." "A machine for what?" Jake asked Dot before anyone could answer. Amy Turner called out from her station. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's coming from the surface. Put it on screen." The image that appeared made everyone on the bridge step backward. It looked almost human, but its skin had a metallic sheen, and its eyes glowed with soft blue light. When it spoke, the voice was a mixture of organic sound and electronic tones. "Welcome home, children of Earth. We have been waiting for you. I am Keeper Prime of the Synthesized. Your world is ready for your return. But first, you must understand what it has become." Jake felt his blood turn cold. The thing on the screen looked human, but it was something else entirely. Something that had been changed by alien technology. "What happened to Earth?" he asked. Keeper Prime smiled, and the expression was both familiar and terrifying. "Your world has been preserved, Captain Morrison. Every building, every artifact, every trace of human civilization has been saved for your return. The Zephyrians completed their great work. Earth is now a living museum, a place where the essence of humanity will exist forever." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Jake looked around at his crew and saw his own horror reflected in their faces. They had come home to find that home no longer existed. In its place was something alien, something that wore the face of Earth like a mask. "Admiral," Jake said into his communicator, "I think we have a problem." The shuttle Base 7 hummed with activity as Lieutenant Colonel Ben Rogers checked his equipment one last time. His landing team consisted of 12 soldiers, all volunteers who had trained their entire lives for this moment. They were about to become the first humans to set foot on Earth in 3,000 years. "Final equipment check," Ben called out. His voice echoed in the metal chamber. Around him, men and women in combat suits tested their weapons and communication devices. Everyone knew this mission could go wrong in 100 different ways. Captain Jake Morrison watched from the observation deck above. Through the thick glass, he could see Earth growing larger as Terra's vengeance moved into low orbit. The planet looked peaceful from space, but the strange metal structures scattered across the continents told a different story. "Shuttle team, this is Morrison. You have permission to launch." Stay in constant contact and remember, at the first sign of trouble,